Hi everyone, Walter Bowne of Eastern High School, the advisor of the Voyager, also a photographer, and we're going to do here today is some basic, very basic Photoshop stuff. We can also work on Lightroom, but today I'll be talking to you about Photoshop. What I'm going to be teaching you today is just the basics, and then maybe part two could be the working from a raw file, which is what I like shooting in, although they're big. If you are professionals watching this online, realize I am just a high school teacher 10 minutes before I have to go to lunch duty, and I'm doing this on the fly. So if you're looking for like a professional who has time to like put a lot of time and effort into this, please go to other websites and don't like make nasty comments to this poor overworked English teacher, journalism teacher. I know what I'm doing. Just this is for my staff, but if you're out there in the world, I think you can learn some stuff too. So let's just take a video, not a video. That was up. See, I'm in school. That's what we're dealing with. All right, let me open up this picture of my daughter. All right, and here's my daughter. She is going to college, so it's packed up. Okay, I'm back. The announcements are over. So this is what I would like to do. All right, let's take a look at this, but let me open this up first. Let me open this up in Photoshop. So open with Photoshop. This is from my SD card right here. Make sure your SD card is large, and when you take photos, get them off of there. All right, so I'm opening this up in Photoshop. Okay, so here's my daughter going to college. So she has it backed up. So I hit Command plus to kind of, or Command minus to make the picture bigger or smaller. The basic things you guys need to do, the most used command, of course, is the crop tool. So the crop tool's right here. Let's just say I wanted to like just do this. Rule of thirds tells me Nancy should be in the third part. Hit image, crop, and it takes out some of the stuff. If you wanted to just to have it on Nancy, you don't want the car, that's my Kia Sorento, what you would do again is just do something like this and then hit crop. Wait, okay, hold on. Okay, I'm back. So let's just get this right here. Perhaps we don't have enough room on the page in the newspaper to have the full picture. Maybe we just need more of a horizontal, a vertical picture. So I go to crop, and there she is there. All right, now if it's a blurry picture, you can't fix blurry in any kind of thing. So, but other things you can fix. Because it's the newspaper, we need things to be lightened. So what I do is go to curves, and then I just lighten it a little bit. You don't want it too washed out. That's like ridiculous. Going that way is ridiculous. But this way, curves is a nice way to bring out some stuff. All right. Just to make it, if it seems light, when we go to print, it will be better. Color photos are for online. I don't want any black and white photos unless it's artistically rendered. But color photos. So we need the photos saved in both black and white and color. Now, if this was going on to a black and white newspaper page, I need this to go to, you need to go to adjustments, image adjustments, and then black and white. And then hit that. Okay? You can then, maybe adjust it a little bit more because of the black and white. Maybe it's a little too much. Click OK, and then I would do save as, and you have the photo saved as, say, Nancy, college. I do BW for black and white. You can save it as a JPEG. If you want to wrap some text around it, I use a PNG, but that's for another day. Online, make sure this image is like 4 or 5. All right, SNO sites, they don't want to take large files. If this is going into our newspaper, save it as a large file. All right, it's the highest quality. All right, so we want the pixels to be large. So that is the basics of doing cropping, making something black and white, and lightening. Right, you don't have to do too much more than that. I will show you how to do other things, but that's really the basics. I mean, if you can do those basic things, that's great. In the next part, I'll be showing you how to do a raw photo. Okay, so this is a trip to Maine I took with my wife over the summer. We were in Maine all summer. It was fantastic. I shoot both in JPEG and RAW file, all right? JPEG is what you're used to. When you shoot in RAW file, let me show you. Let me open this. These are huge files. All right, wait, let me not do that. Let me open up. Okay, this is very different what it looks like, okay? When you shoot in RAW, the image is still in the camera. What you can't change is, of course, focus. But I can change lots of other things. I can change the exposure if I want to. Look at that. Oh, it's too dark. That's overexposed. So if you shoot right, you kind of know what to do. But if you're an amateur photographer and I'm like on the border, then you can always like, oh, maybe a little darker, a little lighter, right? For the newspaper, you generally want things a little lighter. You can play with the saturation. Like I want that grass to be just a little bit greener because it was greener when I took it. You can change the clarity. You know, you just play with these things. You don't want to overdo things so much where you're really like changing everything about it, but the contrast can be a little sharper. The clarity can be a little sharper. This is probably not the best to use. I could show you. Let me show you some colors first. So what you would do here is the exposure is very, very good here. You can see where I shot it. It was f8. All right, if you see it here, f8. The shutter speed, the ISO, that's the speed of the film. All right, and I shot it with my 18 to 55 millimeter. All right, so this shows me what I'm doing, what I'm shooting at. All right, and I generally don't shoot with automatics. Again, this is not the best picture. So if I want to save this, I do open, and I can do other things too with this. What's cool about this is that you can go here. Black and white is great to use with this. You go to grayscale, and you convert to grayscale. So it makes it black and white. I think this is actually sharper than just going a JPEG and going to black and white. So I go to open. This is Fort Knox, by the way, up in Maine, on the Penobscot River. The original Fort Knox. The other Fort Knox where all the gold is, that's in another place. I think it's Kansas or somewhere. All right, so I save as, and then I'll save this as a JPEG. I'll say Fort Knox. I'm saving this under Fort Knox. And I'm just saving this on my regular SD card. But of course, you don't want to do this on the SD card. You want to bring it into the Voyager folder. All right, let's go to my garden. We're going to go to Open with Adobe Photoshop in RAW again. And here's my azalea garden. I really miss it. It's still there. I just don't have these flowers, of course. It's fall. I can change the exposure, overexposed, underexposed. The exposure, I shot this on f8, 1/500, the ISO speed of 800. Let me lighten that up a little bit. Saturation, notice a little bit. Sometimes people oversaturate things. It just looks artificial. So you don't really need to touch these sometimes. It's just playing with them, just see if it sharpens. You might want to play with the whites, make things a little less white. That's too much white. That's ridiculous. Just a little bit. It's just a little here and there. You can bring the shadows, take some of the shadows out. You can highlights, contrast, and then the exposure. And let's just say I want now to crop this, so I can crop, and I just want the flowers in there, the azaleas. All right, so I go to Open Image, and there we have an improved photo, perhaps. And I do Save As, and then I do saving it under azaleas. I hope I'm spelling that right. And then I will save this to, say, the desktop. And then, but you will save this into the group file for the Voyager staffers to use. Hopefully this helped you with some basics of Photoshop. Thank you. Bye-bye. Time to go to lunch duty. Such is the life of a teacher.